What's up, you March Madness fans out there? Dennis here. I tell you what, I got some things to go over with you on just where I'm at with this tournament. I got some things to share. As I make this video, they're ready to tip off the first games on Sunday, the 23rd, which begins with Florida and UConn. So we're halfway to the Sweet 16. In other words, we got technically 24 teams left as I make this. The other deciding game Sunday, then we're at the Sweet 16. Now, let me begin by saying, before I get into the real details, may the best teams win. And also, if you do like the content of this particular video, you know what to do. Hit the thumbs up. Feel free to follow me on this particular platform, Sports Snippets with Dennis Sullivan. Now, guys, I will say this, the big story on Saturday, of course, in my opinion, there was a couple. Of course, there was a couple. Arkansas was huge. Big win. I got to give them a lot of credit. The critics were right. The critics were right about St. John's. St. John's had some critics. I thought myself they were good for at least a Sweet 16. I was wrong. The critics said that if this team falls behind by 5-10 points even late in the game, they're going to have trouble because there's not much of a perimeter threat, not a good outside shooting team, and really no three-point game much to speak of at all. The critics wound up being right about St. John's. Big win for Coach Calipari, and I feel good for him. I mean, he hung around Kentucky probably a little longer than he should have, but then all of us do that, right? We hang around places. Hey, you know, sometimes you can't always time this stuff perfectly, but Kentucky's a great school, great program, but I think he's been rejuvenated. You can kind of tell. This is new, a whole new thing for him, and he's feeding off it, and his team's feeding off it, and that Texas Tech Arkansas game in the Sweet 16 will be fantastic. St. Mary's, California. This will be very interesting coming up Sunday. Tip off right around 6 p.m. Eastern, I do believe, against Alabama. Two very good teams. St. Mary's, California. Big team, can rebound, plays very good defense, very well coached. I'm looking forward to this one as much as I am any of the games. When it comes to Alabama against St. Mary's, I love that matchup. I also really like the Oregon-Arizona matchup coming up. That's the last game on Sunday, right? The wake-up a little late Monday spectacular, right? I think Oregon has a chance against a very talented Arizona team. You know what? I'm gonna go on a little bit of a limb here. I'm gonna take Oregon in that game. Then we got to talk about Michigan for a second, guys. Let's just talk about Michigan Wolverines basketball. Can we do that for a second? Am I allowed to do that? Number one, this team was not a 5 seed. Where are we getting 5 seed? They should have been better than a 5 seed. Number two, half of social media got on this huge UC San Diego thing, right? Most of us barely even heard of this team. Most basketball fans can't even name one player on that team. Yet, Michigan found themselves as only 2-point favorites, and we were all looking at each other like, where is all this coming from? Like, where are we getting all this? And yes, Michigan answers the bell. They win that game. They win the next game. Michigan in the Sweet 16. I think they deserve it. And they should be still as motivated and fired up as anyone in this tournament. Because after winning the Big Ten tournament, for whatever reason, they get disrespected in the seedings and apparently in popular opinion. So I for that reason, I like the Wolverines. Not to mention the coach was at FAU. He took them to the Final Four a couple of years ago, right? Gotta like him as well. Gotta like him. He's a fantastic coach. So Michigan, you got my vote. I'm on your side out there. Let me close out with a couple of. Oh, and by the way, and then there's so much to talk about, guys. And then we have, of course, Gonzaga. Gonzaga playing real. They played well against Houston. There were. I would hear plenty of fans over the weekend predicting Gonzaga. I thought that was a little bit too optimistic. I mean, it's good to be optimistic. Don't get me wrong. Gonzaga showed up. They did, but I mean, come on, guys. Houston. I mean, that's almost like an NBA team you're going up against here. Talk about speed and size. Speed and size. This is a really tough team. I picked them to go all the way, actually. I have a Florida-Houston final. I was going to pick Duke, but the injury scared me a little. Not just a flag. Remember, they have another guy. They got Brown, questionable. So, in questionable status, a little bit more banged up than, say, Flag is. I still picked Duke for the Final Four, but I picked Houston to win the whole thing. But, I mean, come on. Gonzaga, I'm hearing stuff like Gonzaga, the money line, which basically means they're going to beat them straight up. No, come on, guys. Let's get real here for a second. All right, now let's close out with some Sunday games here. Just some random stuff. I think Duke does take care of Baylor. I don't think there's really much. I would be shocked if Duke lost that. I like Illinois over Kentucky. I do. Yes, I do. I picked that in my bracket. I already talked about St. Mary's, Alabama. That should be a very entertaining game. Two very good teams. St. Mary's obviously is an underrated team. They have 29 wins this season, playing the underrated West Coast Conference. Colorado State, Maryland. I mean, it would be nice to see a Colorado State upset, right? That would be nice. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I don't have much to say on that one, really. Ole Miss, Iowa State. I think Ole Miss has a good chance there. Let's see how that one plays out. I'm not super interested in watching that game. New Mexico. Okay, we got to talk about New Mexico here for a second. New Mexico, they were running in that game against Marquette. Really nice. Really nice. Half-court offense, backdoor cuts. Very nice. Richard Pitino, as the head coach, has done a fantastic job. It will be very interesting to see how New Mexico does. Very interesting to see how New Mexico does against Michigan State on Sunday. And that's the second to last game on Sunday. And finally, as predicted moments ago, I will take Oregon in a mild upset over Arizona. Arizona has made some improvements off of their less than average shot selection and half-court offense from what I saw, especially in last year's tournament, a little bit earlier this year. They have improved upon that. I think Oregon, though, this is a nice spot for Oregon. I like Oregon in that game. Let me know what you think, guys, on all this. Great having you chime in with some comments, things like that. Don't forget to follow. I'll talk to you soon, guys. And as always, bye for now.